We made it. Well, some of us. I'm like, the womb has so much medicine. Of course, technology is going to be fun. Okay, so we're going to take a moment and just breathe in and drop into this moment. Even though it's just a few of us, we're good. I'm going to play my singing bowl, letting yourself ground into that center. Everybody breathe in or swallow your drink and then breathe in. Now that's the C note, which drops us into that bass center. So, welcome to the Wild Woman Healing. It's really hard to say that, but it sounds really cool. So, oh, Katie, I'm so excited you're on. And Gladys, I know you're juggling with the time, so I know you're just listening in. Um, I'm excited for you guys. And we have others that are going to be watching the replay because they're unable to make the time. So if they ever get to pop in, that will be a treat for sure. Oh, you couldn't hear the gong? Okay, let's redo it. Let's see. I know that there's an option. Da, da, da. It used to be right here in the corner, and then they changed it. Huh. Well then, they moved my button that lets sounds that are not voices in. Thanks for letting me know, Gladys. Haha. Okay. Now I think you should be able to hear it. So now we'll take a breath. Breathing in, letting yourself drop in to that sacral center, dropping into your belly, letting go of all the chaos, and letting ourselves be fully present in this moment. Breathing in and letting it go all the way into the lower belly, letting it swell up and out, and letting it all relax in. So, this is one of my favorite courses to teach because there is no subject or experience that's off limits. Those of you who know me really well know that I am so judgment free that there's nothing to even consider judging. So, this is a safe place. We live so much in our lives where we can't fully be ourselves or fully ask questions. And even if they're weird questions, or we think that everybody's going to think we're weird if we ask this question, this is a space for all of that. Um, you're going to get to hear my full story in your video that's released now, so you can go watch it tonight. But I've been through pretty much a lot of things, and it took me a very long time till I could fully understand my full body and my womb. From endometriosis to sexual assault to religious shaming around sexuality, to mother wounds and wounds as a mother, and everything kind of in between. And so it's really beautiful to have a space where we can share and we can ask those questions and we can allow ourselves to get past all of the limitations and programs that are running because of our identity as women, our sexual expression and identity, our whether we're menstruating still, whether we have had a hysterectomy, whether we are in our Crohn's stage of wisdom invoking, all of them are here and welcome. And so I just really love sharing this space because I feel like it was something that I suffered with emotionally, physically, spiritually for so many years. And so that's kind of why, at least once a year, I like to offer this so that we can have this space to come together as women. So everything is safe here. And there are rules and guidelines. That is, you are nice and respectful, but we've never had a problem because all of us are here because we were meant to be here. So we're going to be going into the very first video that you get to unlock today is the one that starts to unlock your conditioning and your program. So anytime anybody experiences anything with me, you know that we're going to go down deep and we're going to clean house first, and then we can get to the activation. But first, we have to get the shit out of the way that's in the way. And so, this is your trigger warning. This is the week that activates all of the things. You get to hear deeper into my experiences, and it may activate things. It's really important throughout this that you allow yourself to journal along the way because you'll forget even by next week. So journal as much as you can. If you are feeling things and you're having thoughts, you're welcome to shoot me a really long ranting text. That's perfect. If I don't get to it right away or I save it for next week, it's because it will support everyone. But I'll do my best to make sure that you get those answered. That's why I like to keep this very small because a lot of things kind of popcorn up. The idea is that you have time each week to step into the practices and sit with them. There's a worksheet this week, so actually fill out the worksheet. It allows your brain to have the full journaling, and then when we check back in next week, you'll remember what it was that came up. If at any point you feel like, wow, this is a lot and I'm processing through a lot, I'm here for you. Like we can tap in, we can clear stuff virtually. The idea is that I'm here for you so that you can open and you can start to gain that connection with yourself. The womb itself is a portal, and so it can hold all of our stuff, suppressed emotions, and push it down, or it can be an opening between the spirit world and the physical world. So it works powerfully in manifestation and creation, and also our support system and our finances, and all of that comes through the womb. And there's a lot of sacredness that has been taken from women, especially when the patriarchy started, that I think we've all experienced on some level living here in this country. And with that has been taken, a lot of it was taken because it is so powerful. Uh, I am very strong feminist, if you haven't already deduced that for yourself. And it's not because anybody put that on me, it's because I started waking up to how backwards it was and the self-sabotage and the self-abuse that I was doing to myself because, especially emotionally and with my thoughts, because of these programs. So the purpose is to unlock those programs, to see the crap that's there and get it out of the way so you can start really embodying your womb and loving where you are in your cycle as a feminine, loving where you are in your cycle with the moon, because we all still cycle with the moon, whether or not you have a bleed. And even understanding our counterparts, there's one of the videos that we'll be doing is the cycles of the males and understanding how they cycle. And then we can see how some of us as women have been pushed into the masculine role of evolution and emotional processing and how much damage it does to us and how it suppresses us. And that's probably why so many of us have so many challenges as women. So we'll be going through a lot of that masculine, feminine understanding. Those of you who got the ritual kits, I did have all the supplies ordered, and then the yoni eggs were not the quality that I expected, and there is no way we're putting that high quality crystal in your most magical portal. So those will be here Thursday, so your kits will go out then. And they're coming through from the Tarot Fellow, and they've been charging in a pyramid. And so all of the packages actually sit and charge underneath this huge copper pyramid. So they are fully charged and they will be ready to go. But you won't need them until we get into week 3. So don't stress over that. They're coming. Thank you for your patience on that. It's also kind of a guessing game because I like to order the supplies, and then depending on how many people, I want to make sure I have enough. So those will be out on Thursday, and you will love them. I love them. So yeah, well, I would like for us to kind of start just by sharing a little bit about why this was a sacred yes for us, or what you're most excited to learn, or a little bit about yourself. You just kind of share, and if there's something specific that you've been challenged with that you want to make sure we address, nice thing about a small group is I could always customize. And so this is your chance to speak up as a woman and get to ask for what you want and receive it, which is sometimes our first challenge of the womb. So, who would like to go first? You're going to know each other very well by the end.
I can go first. Can you hear me on my laptop? Okay,
Mhm.
just making sure.
And I love that we're all wearing red, just saying.
Yes, yes,
Way
meant
to
to
pick up on
be.
that.
Mhm. We're already in sync. Um,
Mhm.
well, I have my beautiful drum right here. I just acquired my first sacred drum from Holly, and I'm excited about that. And it was kind of in talking about that and how I am definitely, I mean, the whole world is changing right now, but I am going through it. And probably similarly, I was raised in the religion of the state of Utah, and in
Both of
fact,
us were.
a Catholic prophet of the church is who married my parents together, and I'm in the deep end of that pool, or have been. And so expectations, optics, all of that. I've been taught to be a people pleaser forever. I've never been married in my 50s, don't have kids of my own. And so I know that I do have a lot of healing. I'm starting to get teary just talking about it, but just again, expectations and, you know, that people, some people think, what's wrong with you? You're not doing all the normal things you're supposed to be doing. And um, I've always said my stardust is different. So I don't know exactly what my purpose is still, but I know that I have a lot to offer and that part of my purpose is helping Mother Gaia, helping other people. Um, Not so much to be a people pleaser, but a people helper. And I just don't know in what capacity or how to make that happen, but know that I still have to kind of repair, not that I'm damaged goods, but the things that I've not known how to address, how to fix, how to remedy so that I feel whole before I can help other people. Wanting to get rid of the hole in my cup so I can fill my cup up and help other people fill theirs.
Thank you for that awareness too, because I think so many people are just like, I'm just going to do this anyways. And it doesn't go well. I
I
think
don't
we've all
want
had an
to
experience.
Yeah, I don't wanna try to help other people if I'm just transferring my hurt things onto other people without realizing it. I'm definitely self-aware. I'm also the daughter of a child psychologist, so I had my first IQ test at 2, and I've been compared, poke, prodded my whole life, and that's good and bad. It's
Yeah.
helped me a lot as far as recognizing good and bad in other people, but I also know that it's not allowed me to be okay with the imperfections I hold.
And it probably too has a lot of thought and patterns going on rather than dropping into the chaotic embodiment. And I'm going to talk a lot in our
Yeah,
calls about the chaos. The chaos is
yeah.
great. The
Well,
deconstruction that
yes.
constructs, yes. In
Even in
fact,
one of the drop-in readings that you did on Facebook recently, you're like, "Oh my, you need to get out of your head." And I cracked up a
I'm
lot,
like, I
all
don't
the
remember,
time.
so I'm glad you do. But yes,
I
yes.
do because it resonated. I'm like, "That's I'm the only person that I've heard you say that to, and it's super true." Anyway, that's
I
me.
don't say it to everybody, but when I say it, I'm like, yep, that sounds like something I would
Mean it.
say. And I guess it's being reinforced right now. And I'm like, you must be very here. So there you
It's
go.
true.
And you'll really like the somatic movement practice. And also, a really fun fact is that was filmed at the base of Mount Shasta.
Ooh,
So everybody who has watched it has said, what was that? Because I'm not a yoga instructor. I'm like, this is what I do. The whole course is this is what I do. And my body feels good. I've healed. So, like, my monthlies are a sacred time. I don't feel pain. Like, if I feel any aches, I'm like, ooh, my body's talking. Let's go shift and do this. But I don't have anything. And I mean, they wanted to scrape the inside of me every month. And so to go from that extreme and in that people have said that they can feel those codes when they drop into that somaticness. And we are going to challenge a lot of things. So I recommend, I mean, obviously you guys are on for a reason and you're committed, but I do recommend making sure you finish all of it. We do even get into self-pleasure practice that can be activating for people. I don't say trigger, I say activation of unhealed parts because we're not shooting anything. It's just like, oh, I didn't know I had issues with this. So, and again, what's for you, you take. What's not for you, you let go. It's like, this worked for Holly. Nope, it won't work for me. And if you want to believe that, you can. Great. And if you need
It's not a
something
one
different,
size fits all.
it's not one size fits all for sure. But the idea is to activate your own gnosis from the womb space because our womb has a mind of its own. We agree? I don't know about you, but when my kitty wants something, she's like, hey. And I'm like, oh, honey, no, no, we don't want that. We don't want that. But I do. And I'm like, no, you want to move some energy. Let's go move some energy. That's what you want. All joking aside, there is actually a consciousness through our womb space. And that's one of the reasons why it's so stifled, because if you can stifle that consciousness within the woman, you are able to control her. You're able to influence what she thinks. You're able to keep her up here in the mind chatter and the perfection and doing tasks that are designed for the masculine, like cooking and cleaning and schedules. That's all the masculine's job. That's not our job. Our job is to change our mind, to create chaos, to create beauty, to help with emotions, to love, to nurture through our being, not nurture by supplying the needs that people need necessarily. Some of those come naturally between mothers and fathers, but really our role is to be that expressive emotional chaos. And then also drop into that wise wisdom. And then also guide and direct ourselves. And so I'm really excited to activate. Like I'm just like getting all of these little giddy goosebumps because I love it. And I love it so much.
I'm
um,
excited and appreciative.
and I love that you talk about Gaia. It's interesting. I went to a fairy frolic last night and I just get this text and it's like, hey, do you want to dress up like fairies and make magic wands and dance? And I'm like, yeah. So I get a date and an address and a time and I show up and I actually knew the girl hosting, but I didn't know it was her. Like I literally had no information. And she ended up doing like a group channeling. And it was interesting because most of the night, because we ended up not making wands and not frolicking, we just channeled, which was great. But I'm laughing because I'm like, you're going to go around and do each person one by one. Well, I do drum ceremonies and I channel each person, and I know how long this would take me. So this means this is all we're doing. So I just have work. Oh, okay. But I'm going to be here. I'm supposed to be here. So I'm here. And I knew that I would be last. And I was like, I would rather not be last. And I was second to last. Because I was like, she's going to do me last. Everybody always does me last. I don't want to be last all the time. I want to be not last. And she's like, oh, Holly, you're going to be like second to last, like right after I had that thought. So, like, my body's activated. I'm sitting on the floor and I'm like, man, my womb is feeling some things. Okay, I'm listening. And then she gets to channeling me. And I kind of channel back with her as she's channeling, which was the first time this has ever happened. And I know I'm going to segue for a minute, but I also feel like this is very connected with this specific group, that you're all very much rooted with the core of the earth, with Gaia. And the channel that came through, I'm assuming you all want to know, right? The channel that came through was something that I had been considering and contemplating on several months ago, maybe even last year. And Gaia, as we know her, has actually moved on. She has allowed herself to die. And a new consciousness of the earth has come in. And she's still not fully online. She's still integrating and activating. So I'm all hot, fiery goosebumps. And literally, I had played with this concept, but then I hadn't really spoken anything of it, and I kind of just moved forward with my life. And then as she's channeling about me specifically, and she's quoting things. And since we have former Mormons here, she's quoting things that verbatim that had been spoken during priesthood blessings that I have recordings of. Because I was to the
Interesting.
point where when I got a priesthood blessing, I would take notes and keep my eyes open and I would scribe it because I thought it was inappropriate to record it. And then I was like, no, the whole time I'm worried about I'm going to forget something. So then I started recording them. And I actually have that exact phrase. And I was like, hey, this is fun. But then it also led to my connection with the earth and how I do the gridding and why I do the gridding. And so even having Mount Shasta as part of one of the videos grids you into that frequency. I have crystals on the top of Mount Shasta at, as high as I could get. It's where the snow is, even in the middle of the summer. And I actually have a little spot and I put crystals there and I put some other offerings with it. So I'm like, I have a frequency here. So anytime I want to travel there, I can go there. And so you're going to be pulling in that frequency. There's a lot of grids that I've placed, and so I can access them at any time. Anyways, um, but talking about the new consciousness that's coming in, the girl who's channeling for me ended up pausing and going, wait, what? And then she's like, tell me more. Like, wait, is this? And so then everybody starts asking questions. So I'm like channeling back, and then she'll pick up a piece, and then I channel more, and then she picks up another piece, and I channel more in all these different categories, which is very feminine. You know, a lot of times it's like, oh, we're all ADHD. Yeah, because we're feminine. We can multitask. We are connected. And so we start connecting things rather than thinking patterns and puzzles, which, yes, we can as well, but we're more connecting and embodying all of the connections that we hold. We don't want to just have sex, we want to connect and make love. That's why if a woman's heart is engaged, both parties have this amazing union and are energized and can do a large amount of healing. That's why I recommend self pleasure, because sometimes we don't have a partner that's able to be on the same level or one at all, like me and like you, Katie. And it's like, I don't actually want one, because also in the channeling, it said that a man was coming, and I was like, fuck, no. I'm like, I am so satisfied with my life right now. Like more, and I'm like almost shocked at how joyful I am in my solitude. And it's not because I'm pushing anything away. I just really, really love this. And the amount of love I feel for myself and for others is so big right now. I don't really want to extract attention or focus from any one of those areas to have a romantic relationship right now. She's like, well, it's not going to last forever if it comes in. And I'm like, okay, then I really don't want it. She's like, but I'm
Why
like, but I'll
interrupt
be,
the flow?
yeah. And she's like, but then maybe I'll need a flow interrupt. And I was like, I'm grateful that I have the opportunity to choose in or out of any situation. And if it's for me, I'll look at it when it shows up. And anyways, as we're channeling this, the new consciousness it's almost as if it's like for us, we would equate it to our higher self. So it's the higher self of Gaia that's come in. So it's still her, but it feels different. This is why a lot of us have had a hard time feeling grounded and connected like we normally do. We feel more isolated. Our mother wounds are coming up because we literally just had our mom leave. And now this new mom's here, but she has the same frequencies, but they're also new frequencies that are there that are unfamiliar. So it's like our mom's been going to be gone for a while. And well, yeah, actually, I don't have a better way to explain it. So I'm just going to leave it there.
That is interesting though, and all the talk of the new earth that really defines that.
She has the crystalline codes that previous Gaia did not have. Crystalline is just the word that I can use. They look to me like the grid that I place around my body when I go to sleep. Um, that we have, all of us have. And in your auric field, you also have your personal grid. And it's like this geometric, not a cage, but an encapsulation because you can move it, right? And if you remember Fraggle Rock and the little green guys, what were they called? Droobies. Anyways, the little workers. Remember the little worker guys? And they would make sugar structures. And there were these little sticks that were like rainbowy. They were clear and rainbowy. So that's why I call it crystalline, because it's kind of crystal-like. So I put myself, and you can absolutely start adding this to your practice. I put myself in my little crystal pod, and then you still have your auric field, and my auric field can go out from it and it can go into it, but it's around me. And this grid has lines in all the directions, and they map to all the other grids. So they map to your grid, they map to the Mount Shasta grid, and things can travel on those lines. But the one for me is just for me. It's a barrier as well. And so as I'm laying there, I envision my grid, making sure I get underneath me too, not just in front of me, make sure I get my back. And I go through and I examine in my mind all of the little lines and see if there's any that have been cracked. or moved or shifted. And it's kind of my visual way to check my alignment. Am I balanced again? Is there something off? And this also really makes it safe to go into the womb and really open up and activate that because you've got a fail safe. There's nobody that's going to siphon from you when you're in this space. And we'll do protection bubbles and things like that in the videos too. So when I think of like this grid and I think of the new Gaia coming in, she's kind of in a gestation phase still. And I think it's been, I'm trying to remember when I first felt it. I think it was like 2004, 24, 24. Maybe it was 2004. I gave birth to a child that year. So could have been 23 years ago. I mean, it could have started the process. You know, she moves very slow. Uh, so this new energy is coming in, and one of the really big things that came through in that channel and that I had received before that I just haven't voiced because there's other things to talk about, I guess, or it wasn't as important, is that in order to bring the new Gaia online, we have to call her. Like, hey, it's time to wake up. We're here. Sing her songs, drumming to the earth, dancing, moving your hips. When you move your hips, they sway with that beautiful magnetic field, all that, because really gravitation is magnetic connection, which I know science doesn't say that, but when we get into the sun quantum light, the woman who created it, she is a physicist and theologist and psychologist, and she has like all the gists. She's a doctor of the gists, and she's Greek, and she was the one who we were talking about gravity versus magnetizing, and the law of attraction is yes, you are gravitating things to you, but really you're magnetizing, you're creating a charge that draws in the like charge. And so when we sway our hips, we are shifting and making sure that our negative and positive charges are in flow. And because Gaia also has these negative positive charges, it starts to sway her too on an energetic level. And so think of that as you move your body, as you even just sit with your butt on the earth, like, oh, she can feel this. But also part of this, as you're healing your womb, you know, the womb of the earth is going through a period now, and we all get to be a mother to her. We all get to be a daughter to her. And so I would just personally, I would just ask, it would just light me up if you add this to your practice as you go through this, that every time you connect with you and your womb, you also at least think of or consider our Earth's consciousness and what she's experiencing and give something back to her because, oh, I'm all chills. I think I'm just supposed to keep sharing this over and over. Like, can we start singing to her? And she doesn't care what your voice is like. She doesn't care. If you sing to the trees, their roots go into the earth and it even gets closer. And so the more you can give that back, the more it fills up. Also, you know, listening to this whole idea. And she also said that the man was a foreigner and he wouldn't come to America. So it would be short lived, but it's a soul that I knew in a past life and all these things. And I was like, huh, there's an island that I keep dreaming about. I think I need to go there. And she's like, where is it? And I'm like, Portugal. She's like, oh, I was kind of getting Spain. So, so I'm like, I guess I'm going on a solo trip. I'm going to come back with rosy cheeks, I guess. But she's like, it would be fun. But I'm like, okay, whatever it is, there's maybe some codes to share. We'll get into that, that you actually exchange codes. But you know, ultimately, as I sat with that when I was in solitude, I was like, you know what, though? The earth is my lover. Like, I get so much from her and so much that I feel so full. And I wouldn't have that without that connection to her. So, really setting the intent of deepening that connection and, you know, not just for yourself, but because she needs us to. And we need her to wake up.
Totally agree, and I love your story, and it makes sense, like, just, you know, kind of fills in some blanks for me too, as far as talking about how
Well, and also,
there's a rebirth happening.
and you're rebirthing simultaneously. And as we open up, like I called it woman wisdom because I don't want to just heal this part of our body and like, okay, my body feels great and emotionally I feel good. But I want all of you to be able to have the ability to drop in and access that information that's in there. Because that's a portal to so much information. If I can't find it here, I can't find it here, I can't find it here, I can find it there. And so allowing yourself to have those resources. So, and if I'm finding it here, there's usually, that's my womb, my hands low. You know where I'm pointing because you know. But if I'm finding it in my womb, it's going to be tied in with an action, typically, something that I physically can do or say or sing. And it's also going to be connected in with something that I'm going to receive as a result of what I'm birthing. So remembering that any intuition that comes from the womb tends to circle back to you in some form. So yeah, where the other ones, sometimes it's just for other people, but when we're over givers and people pleasers, if it goes through the womb, you're receiving back. If it doesn't go through the womb, then you're just expending. And sometimes we expend and we give, and those of us who do have children know that sensation of we just give and give, and it's like, oh, now that you're adults, you'll understand, and you'll, oh no, you're all still selfish assholes. Okay, cool. I'm gonna go play with my friends. See ya. We're gonna go talk about vaginas. I mean, I love my kids, but I'm like, I really thought it would have been different when you guys grew up, that you would like be like me and self-aware and like grateful for your mom. And they're grateful for me and they love me and they say I'm a great mom and all the things. But I'm like, but you all, like, no, you're not my best friends. I don't know that we would be friends if we weren't related. Like, I love you, but it is very different. And I've been sitting a lot with actually the expectation that society gives you over being a parent. So I love that you're in here, Katie, because it adds in a perspective of it's definitely not what is sold.
Right. And my mom's currently 83. My dad passed away 4 years ago at almost 90. And I've done hella reverse parenting. So I also recognize it's just been in the other direction for me. Anyway,
And your inner child gets to come play.
I'm excited.
Okay, Gladys, do you want to share?
I've been getting all warm as I'm like thinking about talking. I'm like, ooh.
Woo!
Yeah. I honestly didn't really think about my sacred yes until you're like, oh, sure about your sacred yes. Um, I don't know. Your post popped up about offering the course, and I was like, heck yes, I'm all there. I think we briefly talked about this course on our trip in Hawaii and was like, okay, that's definitely something that I needed to do. Born and raised in a fundamentalist Mormon culture. And I know there's a lot there that is needing to be healed. But more so, I think the women in my family line, like that's been very strong in all of my healing journey, in all of the work that I do. The kind of the driving factor in all of that has been I was this message came through from my great grandma um, several years ago, and the gist of it was I sent you as my namesake to basically do what I couldn't do. And so that's really been a strong theme for me in all of my healing journey. And then I recently had a spirit reading that said my grandma was going to come through again. So we'll see how all of this goes. Because this course came up in a recent spirit reading that I had with a friend. And she was like, whoa, you're getting ready to do womb work? Okay, just be prepared.
I'm like,
Um, but also, I've been dealing with some pretty severe pelvic floor dysfunction. So that's another driving factor in my sacred yes is wanting to address and heal and confront any of that. And then, yeah, my daughter, crazy enough, just had her first cycle this week. So, yeah. Yep.
have you done a
So,
ceremony for her?
no, but it's on my list. We kind of had a warning a few months ago that it was coming. But this time was more like, okay, this is definitely your first. Um, but it's been on our radar for a ceremony. So, yeah.
And you have a womb drum, right?
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yes. Yes, I do. So that's on my radar for her as well. Um, and I love learning. I'm an SPHT practitioner of Holly's. I recently did my working on my drum certification for being a facilitator and a drum weaver. So all the things. I recently did the Reiki light, the Sun Quantum light. So yeah.
The Sun, Quantum Light, Reiki. I know it's a mouthful.
Yes.
So you're all filled with frequencies.
Yeah. All the things. So
Mm.
I'm just very excited to be here.
I'm excited for you too. Okay, well, is there any burning questions you have or specific things that you're looking most forward to learning, either of you?
I feel like I
Nothing is coming to mind at the moment.
sorry, go ahead.
She said nothing that's coming to mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
You both have a lot more practice and awareness. I'm definitely more of the novice, but I am here to learn too, and know that I will come out on the other side of this 6-week program with so much more strength and confidence, and know how to better serve Gaia.
Mhm. And I feel like as you do, you're going to get a lot of thoughts and impressions and like, oh, I wonder if, and that's usually how it works for me is I'm like, I'll hear something and then it's like, huh, that makes me think about this. And I wonder if this, and then this huge thing over here opens up that has nothing to do with what was taught, but this is what was for me. And so I'm all goosebumpy. So I definitely feel like that's going to happen for you. So I just hope that you note those things and you share. Because I'll share my stories all day long. And Gladys knows me so well by now because she's heard me talk so much. Like, I don't even know if we can add up the hours you've heard of me talking, but I have a big mouth and that's what it's for. It's not for blowjobs, it's for talking. I've always had people go, oh, wow, you have a nice mouth. And I'm like, I don't know how that's supposed to come
Thank
across, but it's
you.
because I have a lot to say. So, and I grew up being very quiet and I was always the quiet girl in the back of the class with the straight A's. And now it's like, yeah, get me to shut up. I'll tell you stories for days. But that's how our ancient grandmothers, that's how they passed on. Before religion existed, it was through verbal communication and through the stories and the parables and the fairy tales that we were able to actually pass on sacred medicine. And in a lot of those stories actually have so much alchemy, truth, and understanding that got distorted as it became patriarchal. So a lot of them have been changed, but some of them I still am like, oh yeah, that one's a good one. So you'll get my stories. Please also share your own. If you didn't like stories, you wouldn't be in this class because you kind of have to because it's just who I am. So, but I feel like that's how we remember too. So, all right. Well, then we can wrap up our call and then you will get an email, but you can also always go directly into the course. Has everybody been able to log into the course? Did you try yet?
I have not. I started messing with it, but I will do so.
Okay.
I
If you
got
have
your
a hard time, let me know. It's my website is so finicky, and yet there's cookie cutter websites with the exact same layout from the exact same developer who's happens to be my best friend, and none of them have the problems that mine has. And I'm like, I just have to surrender that it's always just this energy and the resistance because there is this every time we have this huge transformation bubbling up, especially when it's going to up level the amount of energy our body can contain and transmute and work with, there's always going to be opposing forces that like to feed off of the energy that they're already gleaning off of us. So when we upgrade, it makes it harder for them to feed off of us, harder for them to control us. And I know I'm getting out there in the woo woo non physical world, but I feel like we're all evolving there anyways. So this will be good. Um, there is this energetic force that can manipulate technology. And so I've just started going, oh yeah, it's just because we're going to get transformation. So if you have a hard time, let me know. And if it's buggy, I'm just going to say thank you for your patience because it happens with it happens so often that I almost schedule time to correct it. Like we have the newest SPHT practitioners coming up and I sent out all the things and then I was like, they're like, oh, we're starting in a week. I'm like, yeah, it usually takes about a week for all of the energy to settle and everybody to be able to log in and access what they need. Like, I now have to plan a week for all of the technical problems, even though literally it's not like it's a new upload or new web pages and they've been working for other people, but for some reason that energy comes in. So if that happens, just communicate with me and thank you for being patient with me. But I would love if you have time tonight. A lot of people, since we do a call a little bit earlier, they jump off the call and then they tend to go right into the videos because you're already in the frequency. You have some fresh Holly energy and then start practicing through that. And then you have the whole week to focus on it, revisit it, and really process it, doing the things earlier after our call rather than right before our call the next week because you don't have a chance to integrate it. So the idea is you do it like on Tuesday or Wednesday, watch the videos so that you can have the whole week to work with it, let your nervous system balance back out, and then we go into the next thing. So, yeah. So, have fun with your worksheets and your stories tonight and understanding all the conditions. Yeah, this one's really fun. Gladys knows anytime I smile really big and I have the maniacal hands, you know what kind of fun I'm talking about. So very enlightening and self-aware creating. But you grew up with a psychologist as a mom, so you already know all of that. Like it's delicious to see what's going on in there. So I will send out an email with this recording and then you'll just start with the very first video. They're numbered by week, so you don't have to wait for the email, but if you want to, you can. But you're just going to go through week 1, week 2, week 3. So don't jump ahead. It's your choice. And I think it actually won't let you, but avoid jumping ahead and then marking complete when you finish the lesson will give you access to the next lesson. So if you miss that and you don't have access, that would probably be why. And then make sure you're logged in. Otherwise, you won't have access. Just the easy tech things. But we can also open the way that nobody has any tech problems. I like that option too. Okay.
And I promised I started logging on to the Zoom 10 minutes early, but that didn't mean I got in on time. So exactly.
Well, and it was funny because I was like I clicked the link and it was acting wonky, and then I was like, oh, and the other gal said she couldn't work the link, and she's like, you know what, I'm actually in the woods, so I don't know that it's my web or it's this, and I'm like, oh, okay, it's the link, and so we just made a new link. So we already had that text, so maybe that's all.
Yeah, got through that.
I've never had that problem, but I'm like, okay, cool. We'll just move forward then. Here's a new one. So the email I send out will have this link, so you can use the same link each week.
Perfect.
That makes it easy. That's why I was like, it shouldn't be a problem. It's the same link. So, but it's okay.
Tested and approved.
Mm-hmm. I'm just grateful you texted me.
Oh, yes. What was that?
I'm just grateful that you texted me.
Yeah. Well, and Katie had texted me as I was texting you. And then I was going to text her and I was just going down the list. And so it was funny. I was like, oh, great. You made it easy. I don't have to look up your name. Here you go. Katie, did you want to show Gladys what drum you got?
Yes.
Because I know she saw it before.
I last weekend, so just over a week ago, I went to Aaron and Eric's house too, and I took her over. Ooh.
The horse drum.
Wood and my 6-stick.
Oh, it's so pretty.
So pretty. Love her.
So pretty.
Yeah.
It's the horse. So you have all the sexual energy in that too. Like the horse and like riding that saddle.
Giddy up.
I love it. Oh, I love it so much.
I love it a lot too. I'm really excited. And again, things just kind of happen for a reason. This weekend, my favorite niece, she lives in St. George, but she's coming up here getting married on Saturday. I'm doing her wedding flowers. There's a lot of dysfunction in my family. And so I'm like, I'm going to drum this mother out,
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
work through all of my crazy, all the emotions that come up. Um, while I used to be a people pleaser, I'm getting less that way. And so I'm not the most popular person in my family, and I don't give any Fs.
We kind of get to that point, and I think that's my favorite part about moving into the grandmother crone phase of my life is I'm like, it's just like the switch got flipped, and I don't even have any to give. Like
No.
they're just I just don't care,
Why would
you
you want
know?
to even exert that energy where it
Yeah,
doesn't,
it's like
it's not
it just
deserved?
doesn't matter. So yeah, I do love that.
So I love her.
Yay! Well, enjoy your week one lessons and your evaluations, and I will see you guys next week.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sounds
Thank
great.
you for
Thank you
being
so much.
on.
Great to meet you, Gladys.
You too.
Okay, talk to you both next week.
Bye.